ShortMeTina once again from ShortMeTina.com with my nightly recap. We're going to start it off with ticker ROKU, Roku. So right now what you're looking at is a daily chart dating back to around October of 2017 when the stock IPO'd, but obviously I want to focus in on price action starting in February. So in my opinion, you had a cup and handle formation. It took the cup. It started around, let's say, February of 2018, and we can say completed around June of 2018. So it took about, what's February to June? It's that 4 months. So it took about 4 months, in my opinion, for the cup to get completed. The handle took a little, I guess, less of, it didn't take as long. It took about 2 months. Once it penetrated this $50 area, you had this huge upshoot for a few months, right? Stock went as high as $77.57 before collapsing and caving in. So we're sitting here, so we're off a bit from the high. We're off, we were at one point, I want to say, off about 50% from the high of $77.57. Closed here at $40.88, I believe. Left is short the stock, hence why you see this extreme short volume here. So for me, the line in the sand is 38 because, again, this denotes support. This is a decent level of support. The fact that the stock remains above that 38 level support is telling. So for me, not a buyer here, but paying attention, see how the stock acts once it retests 38, if it does that again. What else do we have? All right, and now we have AMD. You're looking at a daily chart dating back to around 2016, and I want to clear up a couple of things. So when I do these daily analysis, you really have to put it into context. Sometimes I'm speaking of shorter term price action. Sometimes I'm alluding to longer term price action. So with AMD, with my bearish call, on AMD, I am a long-term bull, right? I've stated that in not all the videos I've done on AMD, but I've definitely made that clear. Long-term, I am a bull, right? The chart has a nice bullish setup. In the shorter term, however, there is weakness and the stock is having a hard time penetrating 25. So we have a few levels of support. The first level of support is $9. That level, for the most part, has held since December of 2016. Now we have, in my opinion, kind of, secondary support here, this newer support level of around 16. Granted, that level has held, right? It's held 1, 2, we can count that as 3. However, you have this 25, which is the breakout base, in my opinion, the multi-year breakout base. We overshot here back in September, but since the decline, we've had a very hard time penetrating 25. So for me to start to get excited about AMD again, it needs to get above 25 and hold. Right now, as it stands, the rallies have been faded, and until the rallies prove otherwise, I am going to be a bear in the shorter term. I am still calling for a slighter pullback to around that $14, $15 level. Okay, got it? Good. What else do we have? All right, we have ticker GE, again, daily chart dating back to 2009. So for me, there is a bullish case for ticker GE. Again, as I indicated in my last video, there's no need to rush and jump into the trade. Let things play out. We closed at 856 today. We're off about 2%. And remember, I indicated that level to pay attention to, I want to say, is around 9 to 950. We need to penetrate that for things to start to get going, in my opinion, because for the past 9, or not even 9, it's a little bit longer than that. For the past 10 years, with the exception of 2009 and with the exception of 2018, GE has traded above that, let's say, 9 to 950 level. So for me, sitting here at 856, I'd rather get above those levels and hold and look to enter a long position versus just jumping in willy-nilly. All right, what else do we have? All right, ticker CGC. 2 disclaimers. AMD, we actually took a trade with AMD on both the long and the short side. The most recent trade was on the short side. I just wanted to get that out the way. With CGC, we did go long Canopy growth on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and the ticker there is WEED. So I just wanted to get those disclaimers out the way. So CGC, it's actually one of my, well, Canopy Growth rather, it's one of my favorite companies in the marijuana space. I think it has the most, how shall I say, I said it has the most shot to succeed in my opinion. However, with that said, sitting here at $29.64, you gotta understand that this is a relatively new space and there's going to be tons and tons of volatility, right? So you can see it here. At one point, the stock was trading at around $19, $20. Well, not, I think it IPO'd back in April. So at one point, the stock was sitting here at like, let's say $20, $21. Most recent high was around $59.25. So that's definitely like a double in terms of percentage gain. We pulled back immensely. I think we pulled back about 50%, give or take, again, to close here at $29.64. I say all that to say, while I remain bullish on Canopy Growth and the marijuana space, you're going to have, in my opinion, tons and tons and tons of opportunities to get in at a decent price. So you can monitor the space. I don't think that there's any reason to chase these stocks, but that's just my opinion. So in terms of level of support, what I'm seeing here, again, $20 level of support. Resistance comes in at around $33.50 to $34. If you know anything about support and resistance, you can play those numbers if you want. What else do we have? All right, Sears, daily chart, but let's zoom in. Starting around October of 2018, because in my opinion, a base started to form. So we're up about 30% on the day, closed at 39 cents. On volume, I guess they staved off bankruptcy once more. You know, it's kind of, for me, it's, although again, you can play the chart, I guess this is where sometimes it's good to know what's actually going on with the company versus just trading the chart. Because for me, knowing what I know, I personally wouldn't want to take a trade on the long side. I don't typically short penny stocks. So I wouldn't want to take a trade on the long side, even though, you know, with a low of around 15 cents today, the setup was there. You know, if Sears files for bankruptcy, I mean, this, you know, your investment, if you decide to go long here, can potentially lose majority of its value. If, however, you know, they get a bid and it seems like they might be hanging on for a few more years, who knows, you know, you might get an upshoot. Is that a chance you want to take? That's up to you. But in terms of the chart, again, support comes in at around 50 cents, and we're running into resistance here at around 55 cents. So for me, for Sears, I'd stay away, wait and see game. What else do we have? All right, ACB, daily chart dating back to 2017. Again, I've done a few videos on ACB, and, you know, based on the chart, in my opinion, sitting here at 503, yesterday was around 525. I said from a risk-reward perspective, since we're so close to support, taking a position is not necessarily a bad idea. I still believe that. It doesn't mean that the stock is not going to go down. Clearly, we're down about north of 5% on the day, so clearly the stock can go down. For me, it's managing risk, knowing when to get in, etc. So the fact that we, on volume, right, the volume bar is relatively high. The fact that we closed at 503, the low of the day is $5. What that tells me is going into tomorrow, the remainder of the week, this stock might actually pull back some. And for me, again, remember, I think it was the video that I did yesterday, and I said, well, granted, you know, trading around $5, we're sitting at support, but I'm greedy. I'd rather take a position when the stock is in the fours. And, you know, when I tell you about not being impatient, just wait, the trade always comes back to you. That's what I meant. So I could have easily jumped in around 5, but I said to myself, no, I'm going to wait until it's extremely favorable for me from a risk-reward perspective. So sitting here again at 503, the low is $5. In my opinion, just let it crash. It looks like it wants to capitulate. Let it fall, let it crash. Once it's settled, you can scoop up shares on the low. So that's kind of my take on ACB. I'm waiting for that really huge sell-off day, and it looks like it might come sooner rather than later. So that's kind of it. I'm going to cap it there. ShortMeTina from ShortMeTina.com. If you enjoyed any portion of this video, do two things for me. One, head on over to my YouTube page at ShortMeTina. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. I do videos every single day. This ensures that you do not miss any. Then head on over to ShortMeTina.com. Sign up. Become a member. Thank you for listening. And as always, thank you for the